News for people who can't stand the news. Let's talk about Puerto Rico. Can we do that? Can we talk Puerto Rico? All right, so I covered Puerto Rico. I covered what was going on with the election, so I wasn't surprised at the outcome of Hillary Clinton taking Puerto Rico. I don't have the numbers in front of me of what the outcome was, but I was one of few commentators who found it a viable issue to take on. And I did it because, first of all, a story is a story to me that matters, and I think matters to my audience. Also did it because I knew other people weren't going to do it, and that made it more important for me to do. I don't always do every story that everyone else does, but Puerto Rico really struck a chord with me because it just shows, once again, the hypocrisy of our democracy. Now, we talked about the polling places being closed in Puerto Rico, right? Right. We talked about 70% less polling places would be available in 2016 than were available in 2012. Right. We all know who does better when there are less polling or less voters turn out. Who does better when voters are suppressed? Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders? See, you guys are on point. You know the deal. If you said Hillary Clinton, you're right. You're right. Because when people come out, the more people come out, Bernie wins. That's the way it works. Okay. Now, also another thing you need to know about Puerto Rico before we get into it. This was just Democrats. Okay? Only Democrats. Only Democrats. So you can't say Republicans. And what about the Republicans and the Republicans? No. They already did their thing. This was our time to shine. Let the Democratic Party shine. Oops. Okay? Okay. Can you believe that they are suggesting? No, they're not suggesting. They flat out said it. They said that Bernie Sanders was suppressing votes in Puerto Rico. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot. Why would you do the thing that causes you to lose? That's Hillary's job. Hillary suppresses votes, not Bernie Sanders. To that effect, Bernie Sanders' campaign released this message. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders' campaign issued the following statement Sunday on long lines at polling places in Puerto Rico's Democratic Party presidential primary election. Some Puerto Rico Democratic officials are claiming that the Sanders campaign requested fewer polling places in today's primary contest. That's completely false. The opposite is true. In emails with the party, Sanders' staff asked the party to maintain the 1,500 plus presidential primary locations promised by the Puerto Rico Democratic Party in testimony before the DNC in April, when the party was asking to have its caucus changed to a primary. They cannot blame their shoddy running of the primary on our campaign. This is just one example of irregularities going on in Puerto Rico voting today. We are the campaign that has been fighting to increase voter participation. Jake Tapper, what do you say to that, Jake Tapper? Come on, Jake. I know you got a response for it, Jake, because I know Jake Tapper is one of those people who was floating this narrative. What about Miss Costello on CNN? What about you, my friend? I'm sure you were floating this narrative and will continue to float any narrative that your bosses say float. You float more narratives than the root beer floats. And here we go again. Once again, guys, it makes no sense at all for the candidate who only benefits from voter turnout. The more voters turn out, the better it is for him. That they would lie to American people and tell them he's the reason why the polling places were closed, because he don't want people to come out and vote. Well, that's the opposite of what he needs in order to win that primary. I understand that most people don't pay attention to politics. I get it. I understand you don't. Okay? And the fact that the mainstream media can float a lie like that proves it. All right, guys, that's the show. Just remember to catch us Monday through Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time for Tim Black's Progressive Day and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Tim Black at Night. If you want to support independent media, this is where you do it at timstake2@gmail.com. We give you news for people who can't stand the news. See you next time.